So I want to thank Sadaf for coming today. She's actually become a pretty good friend, and she lives right down the road from me in St. Elmo. And so, I've found out that she is a very excellent gardener.
Oh,
and I really want to brag on her because she really stepped up. We encourage people to give a presentation, and I found out she's knowledgeable. You know, she's very knowledgeable. African violet. She's got a beautiful collection that she's going to show you today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the slides as we go through, and she's a master gardener as well. She's a master gardener of Hamilton County. So Sadaf, I want you to be welcome today.
Thank you so much, Tom, and Assalamu alaikum all. May peace on you all. And I'm so happy to be a part of this team and able to do this little venture with you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And as Tom told you that we are going to start our presentation from this slideshow. It's done by another master gardener. Her name is Jenny Gurnage. So I'm just taking some of the help from her presentation because she did a great job and I want to share with you all. So Jenny Gurnage, she's from Virginia, and as you can see on the slide too. So let's start from this slide and then we go ahead then after that. Some of you are familiar with me because I took that course, but a lot of you don't know me that much. So I am from Pakistan, Karachi. My background is, I came to US in 2011. And I have a passion in gardening because I have seen the environment I grew up. My mom and dad, they love nature. And my dad is towards like fruit side. He loves fruit plants and trees to grow. And my mom is like flowers, roses, and different kind of lilies. So I grew up in such environment and I love it all. So although my dad is like professionally a banker, but that's his passion too. So he has a couple of passions like I think all of us have. So the history of, I'm not going to go in the details because all you are master gardeners and you know how to search for the details about the history. Here I'm going to share my own experience, but the little bit that this plant is not native and it's always grow indoor. You cannot grow them outdoor because of our climate in Chattanooga. So, and the reason I love this African violet so much because they keep blooming throughout the year. And I enjoy that because it brings so many colors to my house. And, with doing experiments and by learning things, I find out this a little tip about blooming that I'm going to share with you from my friend's office assistant. And now I'm going to, because I'm going to keep some secrets from you guys right now because I'm going to do it in the middle while I'm doing demonstration. So let's go on the second slide, please. So what we are going to talk about today is how to grow African violets, encourage them to bloom, propagation, and problems and solutions, and coaxing them to bloom. So how help them or encourage them how to bloom more, what environment they like. So this is all about that. So growing African violets, light is very important. So let's start from there too, because it's very important. The bright indirect light is the best. As I put my African violets on the west side and the east side of my window, and I have noticed they're very, very happy on the west side windows where there's no direct light but indirect, bright indirect light. So be very careful when you're putting the plants on the placement because plants is just like they're living beings, as we all know, and they love the environment. And always keep 2 or 3 at least together. So they like to have some companions as well. So it says that east and west window in the second point, and sunny south or west window in winter. You can do that too, but my plants will stay in the winter throughout the year, and they were blooming all the time when they were on the west side. So it's again depend on the light and how far you're putting the plant from the window, especially in the winters. So, and they love to have 6 to 8 hours sunlight. That's for sure. Fluorescent light encourage even growth. It says over here in the last point, but I prefer, people are doing it like when they are doing propagating African violets and when they are bringing it to the market. But I prefer to have a plant. They have a specific plant light in the market, but not the fluorescent one, because fluorescent sometimes they harm yourself, your body, and your plant too. So read about it before you like to experience this one. So I'm not comfortable with the last one. All right, growing African violets temperature. So temperature is as important as the light too. So because we are doing mostly this African violet inside our house, inside our home. So the temperature is all like I have mostly 65, 72. So in between that, not lesser than 65 or not greater than 70. So for the winters and for both. And it's a common household plant and it's common household temperature I usually find. So this is what they explain in the second one too. So when you're doing that, when you're controlling the temperature, you can see how the leaves look. So they're like upward and they're like very nice and stiff. But when you're placing it on the wrong side, see what happened. This has some disease too. I'm going to talk about that too later words. But the temperature and light is very, very important. All right, growing African violets, soil and fertilizer. Of course, we would like to have a soil that is like well drained, and you have to clean your pot, sterilize your pot before putting the soil. And the method, what I apply, I mix the bleach in water, like 3 parts of water and 1 part of bleach, and just rinse it nicely. And sometimes I soak too, because if the pot is plastic or clay, is different to wash. So be very, very careful. Like the red clay has pores in it. So just wash it quickly. So don't let it set for a longer time. So, but the plastic it needs to be cleaned thoroughly. So you can see no particles on it then, because mostly bacteria or things goes through your pot to your plant. When you buy a new plant and you put in the pot and the pot is not clean, so your plant will not survive then. It will bloom, but it dies soon too. So we have to be very, very careful about that. And fertilizer, 20, she has written here, but with my experience, what I have experienced is I'm using this one, and this is African violet liquid, is from Bondi. It says you all are because when I attend the Master Gardener's class, they taught us about that ratio, about nitrogen, phosphate, and potassium. So that's like 3 numbers you see on the backside of your bottle. I hope you can see them.
Yes, we can.
So it's 7, 10, 7. Most African violets like to have 10, 10, 10. But this is 7, 10, and 7. So this is fine too. But if you can find the fertilizer I found, because I was using Miracle Grow that was in the market at that time, and it has same ratio, 10, 10, 10. And whenever I'm watering my plants, I always put 7 drops in half gallon. And I put those 7 drops in the half gallon. I pour in the dish, not on the soil. So this is another thing that I'm going to show you in my demonstration. But the fertilizer I'm going to tell you is spells like S is in Sam, C is in cat, H is in Henry, U is in umbrella, L is in Larry, T is in Tom, and number 2. So this is special fertilizer for African violet. It's African Violet Plus. And if I can tell you this name again too, or you can contact Tom about that, I can give it to him. This is a very, very good fertilizer, and it is 10, 10, 10, a same ratio. You can get it online. And the same method you are going to apply in the fertilizer, like you're going to just put 7 drops in half gallon. So that's the ratio for watering them. And you'll see the bloom after that. and you'll enjoy your plant more. So as I was telling you about the watering, the growing African violets, water, like for water is essential for everything, every living being. So when the soil is dry, it says here, and I said, yes, that's so true. When your soil is dry completely, then you can pour some water in it. But you're not going to put a lot of water. So what I do, basically, I water my African violets every week. I've set the day, like if I'm doing on Wednesdays, I'm doing on Wednesdays, each Wednesday. So I'll wait for that time. And I don't put a lot of water. For example, for this plant of mine, and I have some water in it, and always use warm water. So they love warm water. They don't like cold water. And just like this, if you can see that, I'm going to put one. So, okay, that's enough. And then I just use watering like this. I just put in the tray. So the tray is full, and when the root absorbs it, then you can see the water is getting a little less, then put a little bit more. But don't put a lot of water. And trust me, this water will make this plant happy. You don't need to give a lot of water to African violets, for sure. So that's the main key. So this is a little demo with that presentation I showed to you. And you can see the blooms on that. It's looking beautiful. But since I was not at my home for a month, so I'm not watering my plant by myself. So they're not getting that much fertilizer at that time. So some of my plants, they're not blooming. In the picture, if you see in the slide, the bloom on the African violet, it's just like that in my house too. Like almost every month they bloom. So this is the amount of water you're going to put in your. And yes, about the pebbles, that she's right in that too. You can put pebbles in your plant. Like I'm going to demonstrate you about that too, side by side. I think that's a good idea. And as you were discussing about the soil, you're going to see it. So I put some pebbles in the soil too. Can you see it? Some pebbles. So I mix it with and in the soil, I use mostly for my indoor plant too, that Promix, because Promix has vermiculite and perlite both together, and it's a very good fertilizer combination. But a lot of people think that because vermiculite and perlite, they are like not organic completely. So people like to have something organic. So always soak your soil before planting your plant. So I soak my soil before planting the plant. So there's water in it, and that moist water is good for the new plant to root inside. So whenever you're planting any plant, not just African violet, remember to soak your soil before putting your new plant or repotting your plant. And of course, cold water is not good for them. So, okay, growing African violets problem. Oh yes, that's a very important slide. And for insects, as you know, we can send sample to the extension of master gardeners, or we can send the sample to our agriculture department here in our city, Chattanooga, or wherever you are living. If you are living in Virginia, you can contact them. And you can send your sample that what is wrong with my plant. So these bugs are very particular, like you can see them, but thanks to the Lord, since you take care of your soil, we don't water them, your plant that much, I think you don't have any mealy bug or aphids or spider mites. You have to be very, very careful, just like you're taking care of your child. Like if they get some leaves or something in their head, so you're doing precautions. So I ask you guys to do precautions. So they're like your babies too. So I do my best, and I haven't experienced them yet. And for the rot, I'm saying that water, if you're putting too much water, air circulation is not good. So they have a very sensitive, mostly plants have sensitive root system, and they get rotten easily if they are overwater, and if they're the irrigation, the system that you're not putting that right, and the soil get blocked, and mostly soil get hard and blocked because of overwatering. So be very, very careful about that. And I'm going to show you in my demonstration too that how I do it, not to get this root rot, but still I have this disease coming in this one that I'm going to treat it, because it needs attention. I didn't pay that much attention. So this is what is happening to this plant. This is a fungus happened to this one, and it's very obvious. It's like a dust. It has a name of it. Botrytis bolite. It's a fungus. It happens on African violets. But Botrytis bolite. So I'm going to show you how to protect or how to save this plant too after this slideshow. All right, coaxing them to bloom. So as I told you, the last one is that we are going to help them to bloom more, or to generate more flowers and healthy leaves. So the highlighted areas are like, every time we have seen, like when we have a flower plant or something like that, so we pinch the older one, so we have a new bloom comes more. So it's the same goes with this African violet too. When you see that blooms are getting dull, just take that bloom, the dead one out. For example, I'm going to show you, I'm going to pluck one. See, this is almost gone. So I just take this one out, but I'm not going to take the healthy one. I'm going to keep that one. I'm not going to take this one because it has a new bud coming on. So be careful when you're plucking it out or pinching them out. And they don't like, the freezing temperature, as I told you, and not a very warm sunlight. So they enjoy indirect sunlight. So take them away from the window. That's a very good way of keeping them happy. There's a pot, it's not showing up in the picture, but they like to grow in a tight jar too, but they like wider bowl like. But as you can see in my wider bowl, this has disease attacked on him, but on this one, the same kind, it still keep blooming. So it needs some space underneath and good amount of water that you have to keep them happy. And all right, so, and the other one says I need more light. And so the middle one says, when was the last time she fed me? So keep feeding them once a week. That's important. We have one more left, propagation. All right, so we have water method and soil and rooting. So they're like, there are a couple of where sometimes propagation happened naturally too. Like we don't have to propagate them by ourselves because nature is taking care of it. So you just like in this plant, we have a couple of babies comes out. So I'm going to show you that too. So how I'm going to propagate from there. But the water method is the one it works with me. And the soil, again, there are different ways of doing it. When you are doing in that way, when you're leaving a long stem, it will take time to have a new growth come. But as you can see in the picture, the leaf is so much close to the soil, so it will root faster. It gives you the new plant faster. So when you're propagating, what I did, I just plucked the leaf out. Let me show you quickly. like this way. And then you just do this, bend it a little bit, and you get a nice cut. And you can put the root hormone in it too. Let me show you the root hormone. So this is the root hormone. I use the same company, and I feel that it really works. And you just put that in the root hormone too, or I just put directly inside the soil. And it will grow because the soil has so many nutrients. It's a fresh soil. So for me, it works without root hormone too, or with root hormone, it goes faster. So it's up to you. Since we don't eat this plant, it's not edible, so root hormone doesn't harm on it. It just give it fast. It make the time faster. I mean, you can see the plant growing faster because of that root hormone. This is the water method, and I put little root hormone powder in it. So, and you can just leave this plant, these two leaves inside, and you can see the roots are, they're coming out, they're growing from the bottom side. But again, if you are making it small, and then you just put it in the water, it might grow faster. So always remember, when you cut the stem a little bit more, it will bloom, it will give you a new plant faster. That's the basic thing that we need to remember. You can do this much to like 1 inch above the leaf growth. You can do that too. So this is about the propagation, 2 methods, and it really, really works. So I hope when next time you are going to plant or propagate your own African violet, you can see the growth and you'll enjoy growing them. And when you grow them, then you won't stop. And then, you would love to share with your friends. And just read the instruction and follow the instruction. And you will be very happy to use that fertilizer. Somebody wanted to have those the details about these websites, please contact Tom, or you can contact me as well, and I can give it to you in your email address on your email.
Yeah, it'll be in the video.
Okay, perfect. And thank you so much, Jenny, for that sharing. I don't know if she's here or not, where is she, but this is a great slide presentation, I must say. Thank you. So the dark pink African violet I have, the name of this is Cherry Princess, this one. And I have a couple of them, they're not bloom yet. So I have the dark purple one, which is struggling because of this disease it has. It's the most famous one. And Saint Paulia, the name is like that, Saint Paulia. This is like purple, dark purple color in the African violet. It's a very traditional kind. And as about the history, as this African violet is coming from Africa, of course, it's coming from Tanzania. And people go travel, they love plants, and they say, okay, we can bring that plant to our country. But, the environment is different, the climate is different, the weather is very important. So things happen like that. So that's why this plant doesn't like to stay outside in winters. So I have one which is called Lone Star Twilight. It's like light purple with white outline. It has frill on it. So that is another name. And I have Bob Serbin. So I have different varieties. Crimson Ice is another one, and Purple Tracy. So basically, the reason I'm sharing the names with you all is to let you know that whatever plant you have in your house, you should know their name, just like you have animals and pets. So, sometimes it's so good. I feel so good when I'm talking to them. I think they're listening to me too. So it's fun. So plant do respond to you when you are taking care of them. So it's very, very important to communicate with your plant. So, and now about the potting. So I'm going to share you first. I'm going to demonstrate. Since I need some more warm water, so I'll be back soon. And I'm short in water too. So, but anyways, I hope you guys are enjoying this video, this presentation. It's my very first time of doing that. All right. So I'm taking that small, because I have lots of plants coming. They're growing from, one different leaves. And now I'm going to take them out. So while you're doing experiments with your plants, or when you're studying about the plant, how to grow them better, you come up with, because I was doing some of the Google search, some of the YouTube videos, I try to watch them to learn it more better. So before I proceed from here, you have to, when you are using your, mostly people use knives, but I use my scissors to separate them, and knife is a very good idea to use. But I'm going to do this, and I'm going to show you guys too. Like I'm separating one plant from another plant. So this is the whole root. So this leaf is all on the end, so I'm going to take that out. So when you are taking, you're putting a new plant. So I want you to be very careful, because this is what happened in the end. The fresh, so you keep checking that it's fresh or not. And I'm going to use some water here. So you can see how fresh it is. Can you see it clearly? So now I'm going to put this in the soil. As you can see, the soil, I already put some pebbles in it, and I'm just filling my container with the soil. So again, when your soil is already wet, it helps that little young plant to grow the roots better. And sometimes people like to, they just leave the plant as it is, like in the new container, on the window side where you can find the good sunlight for them, the new babies, because they are very delicate. So not a lot of moisture is in that. So you can put rice hull and pebbles in your soil if you don't want to use perlite and vermiculite. Like this much soil I'm just putting inside. And I have the gloves with me, but I love to work with my hands to feel the soil. When I started my Master Gardener classes, actually my neighbor hooked me with that. She said, you should go and take the classes from Master Gardener here in Chattanooga, since I have so much interest in the plant. So I said, okay, I'll go there. And when I find out they give a certification, they teach in a proper way, so they have a proper classes. I said, I should not do that. So it really helps me to understand about the native plants, about the actual plants, and how to grow them better. So I'm doing a little bit mess in front of my table. I hope you guys are not looking at my mess. So these are the lids of, the recycle, that food you get it from market. So I just use this tray like this, but on top of the tray, I have some pebbles. a little bit. So it will hold on the tray in that way. So the container is not touching on, directly on the tray. So you can see the air circulation for the plant. And then I'm going to put it inside. So some people what they do, I put my finger in it and I can put it in that way. And I just keep the soil. And I want this crown to be straight, because the crown, the part which has roots connected with the plant, it has to be in the center. I hope I'm not going to. So, this is how I propagate the new babies out of the plant. And this time I'm going to just put the water on the side, a little bit, not a lot, just few. And then I'm going to put this whole thing. Well, I just put this whole thing in my window. I have a indirect sunlight that I can put it over there too. But if I'm putting in the container like this is what I have seen that people are doing it. This is a box, shoe box that you can buy from any store. This is from Walmart, and just lid completely on top of it. So be careful that your leaves are not touching on the surface of the lid. So like I use this plate, but if I'm using the container, I'm going to put a layer of rocks, like a good layer of rocks, and I'm going to put the plant. So when I'm putting the lid, the leaf won't touch on the lid and it will grow easily. But when they're growing, the reason I'm doing this is just to show you that you can keep the moisture of the plant and you don't have to water them every week. Then you might see if the soil is dry, then you can give water to the plant, but not before than that. Because this is a new plant and the root get rotten easily if you are not letting them dry. So be very careful. Let them dry completely before before you're watering next time. And the light is very, very important. And so this is another thing that I wanted to show you. So it has two more. So I like the clay pot better than the plastic pot for African violet. And I'm going to remove some of this. These all can be propagated, but you cannot do everything, all of the cuttings. It's so difficult to grow them all together, but you can share with your friends for sure. So I'm going to get some extras out and I'm going to show you. All right, so this looks nice here. So the reason I plucked the extra, so I can have a nice flat surface, and this is the head of the. So we don't need this part because this is all gone and it's not that happy. That's why it's not blooming too. So it's very important when your plant is not blooming and it's giving you more leaves and it's giving you more babies. That means you need to change the pot, change the plant from the bottom. So you are going to cut the the older roots off, and you can see it's not that clean. So, I mean, you can see the bottom of the root is not that happy. See, it's not that fresh and nice. So we need a fresh one. This is fresh one. And for that, we are going to use our knife. And I'm going to show you this, just a little bit scratching. Take the older one out. This is another way that people do it. And I like to do with my scissors, then I sterilize them and see how nicely it's coming out from. Sometimes I forgot the terminologies. The root, what do you call that? Anyone who can tell me?
The crown, maybe
the crown. Yes, the crown. So and the root ball is similar like that too. The crown is top. So see, this is a very fresh, nice piece that can give you good roots. So for example, if you're using a clay pot, I'm gonna use some of the gravel on the surface of the plate, and I'm going to use some of the gravel before putting soil in the pot. So now when you're putting that together, so this will help you to give a proper air circulation in your plant. And now I'm going to put some soil on it. And I'm going to show it to you, bring it to you over there so you can see it. So and you can decorate your African violets too. So there's lots of other ways to doing it. And then we'll finish that one too. Since I didn't soak that one, so I'm going to show you. So this one, the one I use is little dry. So if you're doing with little, you're planting the dry soil, you have to water them nicely, the soil, and let it settle down. For a while. So I'm just mixing with my hands. I enjoy doing things with my hands, with my bare hands, because then you can feel the soil too, right? So that's good enough. And since this is what happened when you're putting a new soil, you're putting water, so soil gets sits and it takes time. So I'm going to add some more to it. And you can put pebbles on top of it too afterwards. That will give you a nice look too. Besides that, it make the house flies, not house flies, the gnats go away too, because gnat doesn't like to, the pebbles are always dry. So they won't stand on pebbles. And I'm just going to put this in I'm pricking my finger inside, and then I'm going to press this plant in, and it will give it a very good breathing space too. And you will see this will grow in a month. So I can post a picture after a month too, that Tom can share with the group of people who are attending this workshop with me, right? And since I don't have pebbles right now with me, but I'm going to show you from this bowl, but you know how to put the pebbles here. So when you're putting water, I'm going to show that you too. I have to take this all away. Now I can see you all better. So see, this is the tray that I'm watering, for example. So I'm going to water this tray, and right now it's not going to affect because the plant is very little, right? But when the plant is big like this, and you are putting it here in this, this is too big for this one. So if you're putting the plant here, so let me show you. I didn't put, but you can see the roots. So the roots are all the way down, right? You can see that some pebbles in there too. So these plants need to be repotted because they need a new soil. So I'm going to do that. But remember that roots get the water from the base. So try to put water when your plant is healthy, not on top of it, on the plate. So this is what I do, and this is what I want you to do. And don't forget to use fertilizer on each, right? Like right now, it doesn't root it that much. So it's not going to get water from here. So try to grow your plant more when you feel that roots are coming around. Sometimes some people put a wick. Let me show you that too. Like I soak this little jute piece, and some people, they just put the wick inside like this, because the new babies, they need more protection. So these are certain methods that you can use for your new plant. And then you can use the same containers, maybe a small one that you can, maybe this one. So you can have the same size of the pot, and then, because this is a very small, but I'm just showing you the example that you can put soil and with pebbles. I just mix it together. Like for example, this one, this is a little smaller one. Let me take this off. Just like in trees, if you notice, the leaves goes in different direction. If you are not letting them, you need to be, make the space clear for them. So this is a very small one. And since I'm looking, that one is not doing good, but I'm just going to leave it so I have a good crown on it. And then I'm just going to put this little guy in this little container. And when I'm putting the soil, remember that this part is going to go like all the way around your crown. And I'm going to put the crown in, and I'm going to add some more soil to it. So since I have some wet soil extra, that I'm going to use it. Let me show you this too. So this is just, for example, you have extra space, you can put that in that too, but it's better to have in a small container. So this wig will take water. Oh, we need some more water. Sorry for that. Okay, here I am again. So, oopsie. Yes, Milo. That's my dog. You can hear him on the side. He's not liking it. Now I'm going to use this wig. So, for example, if you have something like this in your house, you can put that wig on the side, and you're putting some pebbles on it. So you have some space that it can sit, and the wig can easily bring the water, and you're just watering on the side. But since it's a new plant, so let the root comes, and then this will get the water from the wick. So this is a it's like it takes the water by itself. So it's a very, very helpful tip that I use it for my own little pots, because when I'm going for like 2 weeks or somewhere like that, I put that in my plant. Or if I have a deep dish like this one, so I leave the water inside, and then it will be last like for 2 weeks, a little longer, if I'm putting lots of water. So there you go. I hope you can see that. So this is another method of when you're propagating and you're putting that wick, so wick can take the water to your new plant. All right, so let me take this away so you can see the table better. Now I'm going to show you if your plant has disease or something, or suffering, how to protect that one. Especially for this one. Now we are talking about a diseased plant. So I'll be very careful while I'm going to work on it. I'm going to take the healthy plants away because I haven't opened the root yet. And yeah, before I go to the new plant, I would like you all to see that African violets, when they grow like big. Sometimes it's good to leave them as it is, but sometimes it's good to prune, like take the extra leaves off and let the stem grow. But for me, what I have experienced, when I cut the leaves, the plant doesn't survive that much. So I stopped taking the leaves out. When I see some leaves are not looking healthy, I just take that leaf, pick that leaf out from the plant. Not a good one. Like for example, this one. It's curling. It says that it's maybe touching this leaf or something. So it's not good for the plant to have a lot of leaves too. So it's not good for them to breathe easily. So we're just taking some off so we can give them a little breathing space. And since I need to change the soil, so when I change the soil, I make sure that I'm trimming some of the root bulb as well, the crown as well. You can see the crown is growing taller. So when I'm going to repot this one, because I love this plant, it's very healthy. To preserve this healthy plant, I have to trim the crown. So when I trim the crown, it's grow better, it's produce more flowers, and if it's living for like 5 years at my house right now, so the age will grow, it has more time period to live, like maybe 30 years, because mostly I heard from those people who are growing them, they last for 50 years, one plant. And a mother is giving to their daughter, and it's going from generation to generation. So it's a very, very great plant itself. It's just that some people had difficult time because they're not, when you're bringing some plant to your house, always we like to have, we just don't put the plant on the window. We need to know about what kind of light environment they like, what kind of fertilizer they like to have. Just similar our own self, or maybe our own dogs and cats. Sometimes our cat, his name is K2. When we bring a new food for him to let him taste that, and sometimes he doesn't like it, and he stop eating that, and he make him weak and sick. So just similar way, the plants, try to focus when you are bringing them, know their name, know their condition, which condition they grow better. And if you have any difficulties, you have master gardeners extension, the offices that you can call, or the agriculture department. If you just have to put some effort in that, basically. So let's see about this little guy. So if you notice, the central leaves, they are looking pretty nice in shape. They're sturdy. And the other one is not good. So let me take the soil out too. So the fungus scares me. I hope it scares you all too. So I need to put some thing on my hand, because in that kind of soil, you might hurt your other plants. So plastic bags are not good to use, but I'm using it right now. So I'm going to put this all soil in this bag, and see how hard the clay is. So that means the pebbles and the water, it's all. Let me show you. I still have this little piece of pebble, but the hard part, because of the watering, the water is not going to the root nicely from the hole, because when you put the big pebble and small pebble, you have to have an open space in it. The air can go with the water, and the flow of the water is good for the plant too. So you have to be very, very careful. Now I'm going to show you the crown of that plant. Let me. All right. So look at that crown. So you cannot see crown as hair, because there is no root here left, and that's why the plant is struggling. So see, you have to keep looking at your plant. What is happening to them? So this is a reason that I just keep this for that long time, because I came back from my trip. I went to Pakistan to see my mom, and I stayed with her for like more than a month. And then this plant was, at that time when I was leaving, I don't have time at that time, but I saw him, it was struggling, and I knew that it's gonna struggle more, but I have a class to conduct, and for my class, I just sacrificed him a little bit more, that I wanted to share with you all that this is what happened, because this happened before to my other plant, and this is what I did to it. So you can save your plant by taking mostly all of the leaves. They have fungus, but sometimes this helps when you take the leaves out. Look at this, it's coming out. This is difficult to grow it out. So the one, I'm taking it all out. So there's nothing left on it, just a little piece. So what I did, it's between you and me, but you can experience, because I love to experiment. Sometimes you learn things from your own experiment. So let me remove this all before it's spread. I'm going to wash them with my bleach soap too. These things that I'm learning through my experiences, that these fungus or something, that bacteria attack or something happened to your plant need to be taken care of so very well, that you try that infection doesn't spread and not in a single way. So this is hydrogen peroxide, but I'm using this, I've diluted water in that. I have another bottle of hydrogen peroxide that really helps, even helped me in my orchids too, to get the fungus out, and it cleans a lot of things from your plant, the bad things. So it has water in it, and I'm going to wash it with that. And I'm going to share this after a month, how it looks. And then I'm going to use my this little thing that I want to scratch it out. And then I'm going to spray it on it again. So just I'm scratching some of the layers out, and I'm going to cut the root. Now you can see a nice root ball or crown. So now you all can see how little left from there. So I'm going to clean it again, and I'm going to just put it in the soil that I already prepared with the solution and everything, the same water. And I'm going to just I'm going to prick my finger, and I'm going to settle him nicely. So since this hydrogen peroxide spray has water too, so now you can see a very little portion from it. A lot is I'm going to be pressing down, and that will give him a good rooting. And we are praying to the Lord, please let him survive, because this is a very traditional one. We can buy easily, that's for sure, but we will enjoy more if we save some plant. And when we see it growing and flowering, then we enjoy that efforts what we put in. So this is the way that we clean a plant like that. So I'm just want to show you this one. Again, I'm going to repot it, but as you can see, big pebbles, rocks here in this plant on the bottom surface. How many? See, so this is giving him a good airflow, and it's very healthy. But the soil is very dry. It's very dry, and the roots are very dry too. So you have to put that much water that your roots should look healthy. So healthy, let me show you the healthy roots too, so you can able to see them too. So this is what I call healthy root. It has some moisture in it. All right, so your plant need not a lot of water, but water that keep it moist and healthy and happy. So this one is not giving me flowers. It's just giving me more leaves. And the reason is that it's going to bloom though. I can see some blooming coming out of it. If you can see a bud, but not a lot. Can you see the bud? Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So now I'm going to take some of it out. Just put it here. And do the same thing. But since I have another thing to do, because I thought this Okay. So because I have a I'm an artist too, everybody. So I'm working on another project too, but I would love to share what I have. So that's why I'm here. So see how healthy the crown is. So you see the crown, which is very dull, but now here it's not very happy, this with the bottom part. So we want him to be happy too. So with my scissors, I'm going to cut this one off and then a little bit more. That's the, this is the one I wanted to have. Or you can cut it more and see a more round look of that root ball or the crown. And then I'm going to, since I use that so, well, I'm afraid of using the same tool because I did clean it, but I wanted to sterilize it before I do another one. But the same way, I'm going to change the soil in the, I'm going to clean the mess here too. Before I'm going to put my another plant, I'm going to clean this pot. See, this is the older pot. So I'm going to clean this with bleach and water and remove all the dirt and the mess. And then I'm going to put this new one inside it. So all plants need a good air system, and African violets are very sensitive. They are not that easy to grow, but they are not difficult to. If you know how to take care of them, I think everybody can do a good job. Everybody can have a good bloom, and you'll enjoy your plant for 50 years, good 50 years. So all the best to you all. And if you have any questions, so I'm here to give you the response on that.
It says, what is the ratio of that water to peroxide or that hydrogen peroxide? How do you mix that?
Like for my this little bottle, if you have a spray bottle, this is 8-ounce bottle. So for this 8 ounce, I put 4 tablespoons of hydrogen peroxide with water.
What's the wick made of?
The wick is made up of cotton and jute. It has 2 string in that. You can use pure cotton too, the thread that's thicker count, or you can use jute as well. But jute itself doesn't take a lot of, I haven't experienced that yet. So cotton is the best one.
Okay. How do you know when you're watering from the bottom? How do you know the plants are getting enough? How do you check it, or how do you know?
Oh, you can easily tell. Right now, I just water this one in front of you guys, and there's no water left. I just water this one. So when you see your plant is absorbing a lot of water, that means it needs some more water. Maybe the soil is very dry. So this is, if you can see, if I tilt that plant, you can see some of the water coming in the tray. Not a lot. See? Not a lot. So at least your water need to be in your tray set for like a couple of hours. So give them this much water. Like for example, if your saucer is quite deep, so maybe 1/4 of a cup is good enough for them if the plant size is bigger than that. But like this one, I just put water, fill it, and it soaked it all up, and I can feel the soil is moist, then I don't have to do it again. If the soil is dry and the water is gone, then I have to add some more water. So you have to keep watching your plant. Right now, my soil is moist because it's not very moist, but it's moist. So I put some more water right now. So it will be good moist for this plant, and it's keep blooming too.
Do you use, another question, do you use distilled water?
No, tap water.
Tap water. Do you let that tap water set to get rid of the chlorine or fluoride?
Well, you can do that, but I do use just tap water. And I use fertilizer directly in the tap water. When I'm filling the water container, I just put the fertilizer drops and then I pour water in it. So it can mix very well.
Okay. How long does it take a baby to grow before it would bloom?
Well, that the baby I just planted right now, it will bloom in, I'm gonna say it's like 2 months, 1 to 2 months. It depends on the growth, how the growth is going on. But in 2 months, you surely get the bloom out from that plant.
Can you take these outdoors during the summertime?
Well, you can, but I haven't experienced that yet. I didn't put my African wallets in summer outdoor, but there's no harm in trying. But you know, when you are putting them outside, be very careful because they might dry faster. Because inside the temperature and the moisture is maintained the same way, but outdoors sometimes it's windy, sometimes it's humid, sometimes so the climate changes a lot, the weather changes a lot. So just be careful about that. You can have what I can suggest in that if you have a party or you have a people coming out to have a get together, little friends get together, and you wanted to have African, you can bring that from inside to outside for a little while to enjoy them while you're having tea or snacking or something, and then put it back on their spot.
Oh, everyone says thank you very much. Very entertaining, which I thought so too.
Like I'm going back to my tap and bringing the water. This is my first experience. I enjoy that too. Thank you.
You did fabulous, really. I mean, you did very, very good. Where's the best place to buy African violets in general? Do you buy any, or do you just get them from friends?
No, I do buy. I bought my first. I got first plant from my friend as a gift. It was the first African wallet, the St. Paul one. And one of my very dear friends, she passed away because of coronavirus. Her name was Elsa, and she had that African wallet, and she gave it to me. And she said, "I'm not taking care of." And that's my husband in the background, as you can see, Iqbal.
Hi guys.
Hey, thank you.
How y'all doing?
So that's the first one I got it. But when I was, and it died. It sadly died, and I feel so sad about that. And then I bought it another one, and then I read about African wallets, how to grow them, and then I got in touch with the master gardeners, and I did a course. But before that, I met a lady. I need to share this with you all. That in my friend's office, there's the secretary assistant. There's a lady on her desk. On the side of the desk, there's a little big pot. This deep, this wide, and has African wallet. And whenever I go to his office and I saw her, and it's always blooming. It's always blooming. And I said, your pot is like, I never see it's without bloom. So is there any secret for African violets that you are working hard on it, or how you keep them blooming? It really fascinates me. And then she told me that I whenever I water my African wallet and any other plant, I do put some fertilizer. And she's the one who told me about this Miracle Grow African Wallet fertilizer, which is short in the market right now in these days. Since 2 years, I cannot find that one. So she told me about that fertilizer, and she said you can use 7 drops in half gallon, and then you can water all of your house plant with that. I mean, you can have more water and more fertilizer, but this is what she told me, that your flower will grow more with that. And since then, I'm doing it, and I'm having a very great result out of it. But besides that, you have to watch your soil as well.
Well, I think that's that wraps it up for today. And again, I want to thank you very much. It worked out perfect, didn't it? Your house in the background was beautiful, and you did a very great demonstration, and you dressed really nice. So that was really nice. Shared with us your culture a little bit there.
Yes, thank you so
awesome.
much. It's nice to see you guys here, and I hope it benefits you all too. Before we go, I just wanted to make sure that everybody, because you all are master gardeners, and you all do, when you propagate or do something with your seedlings, you put the names and label. So do that, please. But thank you so much for this lovely opportunity. Yes, for African wallet, you can use anything. They are happy in plastic, they're happy in ceramic, they're happy in clay. I love this glazed clay too. I love that the clay itself, the dry one, that I like to have. And on the concrete, this is I never work on concrete pots. They're the pots made up of concrete because they're very heavy. So it's up to you. But African violets just need a good irrigation system, that good air is going past, and nice fresh soil and less water. I think they can survive in plastic or any pot. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I enjoy this class too, but I know next time if I'm doing something, what I have to do.
Thanks, Sadaf.
Thank you so much all. Have a good day.